Greetings, gastronomes. I'm back. Now I know I haven't made a proper cooking video for some months, but my excuse is I've been very busy dealing with the aftermath of the burglary, and of course there's been all the Christmas celebrations, you know, the silly season, having to travel around to different places for various Christmas festive get-togethers and post-Christmas and birthdays and whew, yeah, which has been good, but it's taken up some of my time, so I haven't done some of the things I would normally have done. And of course also I'm just plain lazy, and I've been probably watching too much YouTube, reading too much manhua. But anyway, today I'm going to cook yet another Martian masterpiece. Yes, this invention of mine is called fish and rice. Tell it like it is, fish and rice. So I've got some really cheap fish here, which I got from Aldi. It's New Zealand whiting. Very, very cheap, like $6 a kilo or something, crazy cheap. I've got about 250 grams of it. I've got 150 grams of potatoes here and a couple of rashers of bacon. So this is like, it's the way I usually cook rice dishes. It's kind of like a risotto, but it's not a risotto. I mean, you could argue about what constitutes a risotto and what constitutes fried rice. I guess fried rice, you're cooking it in a wok and you're frying it, and I guess risotto, you're boiling it, right? But the Italian risotto is, in my experience, tends to be rather sloppy and creamy, and that's not how I like my rice. I like my rice to be more like fried rice, you know. I like it to have proper rice texture and you know, not slop around or stand up. Stand up like proper rice should, you know. So yes, I cook my ricey things in a pot, boil them in a pot with water, rather than pre-cooking the rice first and then mixing it later. Any of you who've watched my cooking channel will know that I'm basically a lazy guy, and I don't like doing more work than I have to. I mean, you know, if I have to do a lot of work, I'll have to do it, well, fair enough. But if I can find a simpler way, an easier way, that produces a good result, well, I'm going to do that. For sure I'm going to do that. And so it was probably decades ago that I discovered that you can, when you're cooking your rice, because I eat rice a lot, you know, multiple times a week, I discovered decades ago that you can just throw stuff in with the rice, it'll cook with the rice, and then you've got a meal. So the question is, what do you throw in with the rice? Well, anything you like, you know, same as fried rice, you throw anything you like in. Anyway, I'm going to throw all this stuff in. So I'm going to start with some canola oil. Probably a couple of tablespoons. And you do want some oil in your rice, whether you're making fried rice or whatever kind of rice you make. If it's supposed to be a meal and not just rice, you want some oil. Same as you want oil in spaghetti, you know, it's all part of the technique of cooked food, you know, cooked food. So all cooked food, the fat is a flavour carrier. A lot of flavours are fat soluble and not water soluble. So It's no good cooking everything in water with never any fat. If you don't have any fat ever, your food will taste boring and dull. I mean, it's okay, your fruit, you don't need fat to carry fruit flavours, but savoury flavours, well, you do. You need the fat. So I'm just going to dice up 2 rashers of bacon. Of course, the bacon's got fat in it as well, so you don't need a huge amount of oil. But this is a nice savoury dish, and of course very cheap, because pork is very cheap, bacon's pretty cheap. This is middle bacon from Aldi. Now, not that happy with Aldi's meat these days. I think, in a lot of areas Aldi have really stopped trying to be quality. When they first came to Australia, they were actually quite good quality. You could match Aldi's quality, and it was nearly as good as the expensive stuff from Woolworths, but not anymore. The quality's noticeably worse, and that goes for the meat as well as everything else. Well, almost everything else. Aldi's detergents are still pretty good, I think. Still pretty good. Alright, so we'll just cook the onions, and we'll cook the bacon. Believe it or not, bacon, potato and fish and onion go really well together. Really well together. Throw in some chilli. This is generic crushed chilies, supposedly hot, and they're hot-ish. I put in about a good heaped teaspoon, which will make it a bit spicy, but not crazy. Generic crushed chilies, they're not super hot. They're hot, but not super hot. So they're a really good thing to use, I think, if you don't want something really hot. If you want something really hot, then you can use cayenne. So if I were using cayenne, I'd probably only use half a teaspoon instead of a full teaspoon. So I'd say that cayenne's maybe twice as strong as the crushed chilies. Now, while we're waiting for the onion and bacon to cook, I've just got them just gently simmering, gently cooking along. I want the bacon to have a bit of colour, and I want the onion to be fully cooked, but not burnt. While I'm doing that, I'll start dicing up these spuds. Now the thing is, because you're cooking your potatoes and everything for that matter, you're cooking them with the rice, and the rice takes 12 minutes. So your potatoes have got to be cooked in 12 minutes or it's not going to work. And normally potatoes take 20 minutes, but if you dice them up finely, like these are about, so ideal would be cubes about 6mm on a side, cube 6mm on a side, that's what you want. And they will cook, if you disperse them evenly through the mixture, they will cook in 12 minutes, just. So this is another trick that I invented. I'm sure other people have invented it as well. I'm always reinventing the wheel. Well, Well, not always. Sometimes I think up something completely new, but sometimes other people have done it. Good on them. Proves that we're not all morons. Human race has still got some hope. So, you dice these up fine, because they're going to go in soon. Right, that's the spuds. Spuds done. Let's have a look at the bacon. It's looking pretty good. I'll give you a look. Just about ready for the rice, I'd say. I'll just make sure the kettle's boiled so I can put the water into the rice in and then get it going. Right, let's have a look in this. I wonder if the camera will behave itself. What are the odds? Video. Start. Look at that. That looks like potato and onion nicely done. So I think we're ready. So we get a cup of rice. 1 cup of rice feeds quite a bit. And of course all the Asians are throwing up their hands in despair. He didn't wash the rice, says Uncle Roger. Sacrilege, they say, sacrilege. I say, don't need to wash it. Wash it if you want. I can't be bothered. I've made this point before. This tradition of cooking, of washing the rice, is when rice used to be genuinely dirty. You know, if you are threshing your grain on a patch of dirt, it's going to have dirt in it. And you need to wash it. But they don't do that anymore. The rice you get's not actually dirty. It might be a little bit dusty with rice dust, but that's not going to cause you any digestive problem. Plus you're cooking it. You're cooking it, so any bacteria in there are going to get destroyed pretty quickly. Not many bacteria can survive boiling. In fact, I don't think there's any. I doubt there's any. I know there's hydrogen sulfide loving bacteria that can survive hot vents, which might be close to boiling, but you're not going to get them in your rice. You're only going to find them in hydrothermal vents in the deep ocean. So we just gently fry the rice with the oil and the bacon and the onion just for a little while. I'll just give you a look. The theory there is that it's supposed to simulate fried rice. There it is. Imagine if this thing did as it was told. You press the off button, imagine it would actually do it. Thanks, Motorola. Right. Now we need a cup of water. Not more than a cup, because you get water coming out of the fish, you get water coming out of the potato, you don't want too much water. That's why I say, I don't want to make risotto. Risotto's sloppy. I don't want sloppy. I don't want sloppy. I'm aiming for a texture similar to fried rice. That's the ideal. some salt in. Probably you want about a salt spoon and a half. I mean, you could have more than salt spoon and a half if you wanted to. But I think that's about right. Salt spoon and a half. And some ginger. So you know, if you're going to make an Asian dish, you're going to be wanting ginger. Probably, usually. So just a couple of teaspoons of crushed ginger. And the fish, I'll talk about the fish in a minute, but while I'm here I'm just going to put some anchovies in. So there's 2, 3, 4, and 1 for me. I love anchovies. If you haven't eaten an anchovy out of the, nice fresh out of the jar, I highly recommend it. Just fantastic flavour. Very salty and very fishy. Very fishy, but that's what you want. When you're making a fish dish, you want fish. Give me fish in my dish. Now where's the lid? The anchovies will break down in the cooking process quite quickly, so you don't need to worry about them too much, about chopping them up or anything. Now, you need to dice up the whiting. You don't have to use whiting, by the way. Any white fish would be fine in this. In fact, I don't know if I buy this stuff whiting too much anymore. Yes, it's cheap, but I kind of like the Vietnamese catfish. The basa, I kind of think that's maybe better. And similar price, they're both very cheap. Like I say, this is a really good cheap meal. This will feed 2 hungry people or 3 ordinary people. And what's in it, you know? Super cheap fish, 1 onion, a couple of bits of bacon. It's not, you're not looking at an expensive ingredient list. Not at all. And if it's just one of you, like it is for me, it's feed me for at least 2 days. Well, 2 meals, 2 big meals. It makes quite a lot. You'll fill quite a plate with this. With half of this, you'll fill quite a plate. And it's cooked. And it's only like 250 grams of fish. It's not a lot. So you're only eating 125 grams of fish, you know, in each meal. It's not a huge amount. So very cheap, very efficient form of food. Which I'm into. You know, I'm into efficiencies. I don't like spending a lot of money on things. Spent my entire life living frugally my entire life. You know, I think there was 5 minutes in my life when I had any money. So yeah, I don't waste it on expensive food. And you know, I don't need to waste it on expensive food, because I can cook food that's just as good as the expensive stuff in a restaurant. Usually just as good. I mean, sometimes the restaurant will turn out something that's spectacular, but a lot of the time I go to restaurants. Like I went on the weekend, as part of a birthday celebration, I went to an expensive restaurant, and some of the food was good and some of it was not good. Some of it was not good. I had to complain. It was so bad I had to complain. I mean, what? What kind of expensive restaurant serves steak that's tough? Tough steak in an expensive restaurant. What? No, that's not acceptable. It's definitely not acceptable. So I'm just stirring this around, and I'm just trying to get the make sure the rice isn't sticking to the bottom. If it sticks to the bottom, you know, it'll tend to go hard. Gets too much heat, tend to go hard, which we don't want. We don't want it going hard. Now just throwing some garlic. Some garlic. I suppose the garlic could be optional. A lot of things could probably be optional, but why wouldn't you throw in garlic? Garlic goes really well with fish. If you've ever tried it, you'll know that garlic and fish are pretty good. Garlic, fish and ginger are good. No. And I think fish and potatoes. Well, fish and potatoes are a classic, aren't they? Ever heard of fish and chips? That's fish and potatoes. Right. Garlic in. One cup of cheese. No. Peas. Cheese, peas, they rhyme. They rhyme. That's probably why I got confused there. Because I'm a poet. And I know it. I'm not going to blow it. So you can stow it. Relay that criticism. I've asked ye. Relay that criticism. Right. Stir it around. Make a nice happy mixture. We need to get this properly hot because, of course, they were frozen peas. So I've got to put some more heat in to bring them up to temperature. We want to cook the rice. We want to cook the rice and we want to cook the peas and everything else for that matter. But in order to do that, we've got to bring it back to the simmer, which the frozen peas will take away from the simmer. So, I'll just turn it up a little bit, stir it, make sure the rice moves away from the bottom, especially the corners. It likes to stick in the corners of the pan. So we just got to run the spoon around the corner, make sure the rice isn't sticking there. Oh yeah, smells like it already. Already smells like the business. So I'm just going to let it come up to temperature and then I'll start the 12-minute countdown. The dish is assembled to a one-pot dish. How long did that take? 10 minutes? Quick. This is a classic Martian dish. It's quick, it's cheap, you get a lot, and it's full of flavour. What more do you want? What more can you ask from a dish? Everything you want in a dish. The potatoes are from my garden. I had a fair haul of potatoes in a fairly small area, like 5 metres by 5 metres or something. Or is it 7 metres by 7 metres anyway? Not very big, but I got a lot of potatoes out of that. And now I've got corn growing near where the potatoes were, and I've planted pumpkin where the potatoes actually were. So I don't know whether I'll get enough sun before it gets too cold, but it's February. and the pumpkins have just come up, so I'm hoping there'll be enough time for them to produce some decent pumpkins by April or May. If not, well, you know, live and learn. Right, we're just up to temperature, I can see, because we've got steaming happening. Initiate the countdown. We've got steaming coming out of the mixture, so I'll just show you what that looks like. See the steam coming off. Yep, Motorola, garbage. Right, lid on, 12 minutes, I'll be back. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes, so 12 minutes to cook, and then just let it sit for about 7 or 8 minutes. I've got the steam coming off it. I can smell the fish in there. Yeah, smells like fish. I just stir it around a bit just to make sure there's nothing sticking to the bottom. Now, when you do cook rice with the absorption method, as I've talked about before, you usually do get rice sticking to the bottom, but you leave it for 5 to 7 minutes, and then you come along and the rice that sticks to the bottom will come off very easily. So, let's serve it up. Well, this is only half of what's in the pot, but it's quite a bit, you know. It's quite a bit. Look at that, oh my God. So let's have a close look at it, eh? With the steam coming off it, let's have a close look. Look at that. Could even come around, look at it from another angle. If I come where the light's coming from, the white balance will be slightly different. They're still not the right white balance, but it's good enough. Gives you a look, and you can see the bacon. See the bacon there, and it's a bit hard to see the fish. You can see bits of potato there. It's a bit hard to see the fish. The fish kind of there's a bit of fish there. Kind of blends into the rice, you know, they're both white. Of course you can see the peas. Personally, I think that peas are an essential component of any fried rice. You've got to have peas. Alright. I tell you, it might not look like much when you see it, but to taste it, it's a riot, a savoury riot for the senses. God, it's amazing. It's truly amazing. You've got to try this if you haven't. Yeah, of course you haven't, because I made it up. You've got to try it. Oh. You've got the rice, of course, which is well and truly cooked. Probably a bit overcooked, but that's the way it goes. You've got the oil bonding it all together. The chilies there in the oil, nice spicy chili, tickle the throat, but not enough to really make you go, oh, it's too much chili. No, it's just the right amount. Salt and pepper, just enough, not too much. And the fish, right? You don't really see the fish, but it's there, you know, it's there when you taste it. That's that. Gives it the body. It's the body of the fish that makes this dish. Gives it the body. We've got the bacon producing a lot of savoury flavour, and the potatoes come through with that bland but noticeable potato flavour. Yeah, you really can't cook the potatoes. You really can't over dice the potatoes. They need to be fine because they need just cook it. They're only just cooked at 12 minutes, just. So, yeah, make sure you dice them fine. They give it body, the fish gives it body, and the fish itself, this whiting from New Zealand, it's not the strongest flavour fish, not a very strong flavour. So you really want the anchovies in there to give it that more fishy flavour. I suppose you could put in some Thai fish sauce if that was your thing, but I think we're better off with the anchovies. And of course the peas give it a little bit of sweetness. And I suppose the onion, the peas and the onion give it a bit of sweetness, just a little bit. Of course, the onion's always beautiful, you know, blends into so many dishes, onion. The bacon and the potato, you know, bacon and potato marriage made in heaven. And same with the peas. I mean, the fish just blends right into that. It just blends right in. So you've got fish, potato, bacon, forming this core of the dish. Surrounding it, you've got the onion and peas, you've got the chilli, garlic, ginger. I don't even know if I can taste the ginger to tell you the truth, but I'm sure it's in there. I'm sure it's in there. The ginger and garlic. They certainly don't dominate. And the chillies in there is noticeable, which is what I want, you know, it's just the right amount. Just the right amount. Everything's just the right amount. This is a good dish. Highly recommend it. Like a lot of my dishes, a really satisfying comfort food, you know. It's got a lot of flavour, it's easy to eat, it's cheap, there's a lot of it. You just want to keep eating it and eating it. But it's not, like you wouldn't go to a restaurant and order this, because it's not that kind of food. It's comfort food. I mean, I suppose you could serve it up in a restaurant, but to me it's an ordinary everyday dish that you'd eat, you know, every week or something, you know. Easy to make, tasty, filling. It doesn't have a really standout sharp flavour like you might get on some fancy restaurant dishes, you know. Get a really nice piece of roast duck or something from a restaurant. Really stand out, concentrate on the duck. Oh, piece of dirt got through. That was probably in one of my potatoes, because I didn't peel the skin off the potatoes before I diced them up, because I'm too lazy to peel skin off potatoes. That was just a bit of dirt. Right. So good. Plenty of salt. So much body to this. It's so satisfying. Easy to eat. Gets into the stomach. Tastes fantastic on the way down. But you know, it's kind of everyday flavours, you know, everyday flavours like fish and potato and rice and chilli. They're everyday flavours. Like, people don't want to eat everyday things at a restaurant, do they? Probably not. Anyway, this is my lunch for today. That'll be my lunch another day. Best of luck to you people. I highly recommend you try this. If you want a filling and cheap dish, very savoury, filling, cheap dish, give it a go. Easy to make. You saw it's like 10 minutes to put together and 20 minutes later you're eating it.